Hey you guys, this is book review number 4. Kind of going through the back catalog a little bit. Well, the book I'm going to be reviewing in this video is called The Spice Island Voyage by Tim Severin. Show it to you. There you go, by Tim Severin. And anyway, this book is about a biologist that went to Eastern Indonesia to kind of retrace the steps of one Alfred Russell Wallace. Now, if you don't know who Alfred Russell Wallace was, he actually is considered the co-inventor or came up with the idea of evolution at the same time as Darwin did. And there's actually some evidence that Alfred Russell Wallace influenced Darwin to the point where some might call it plagiarism on Darwin's part. Now, Darwin wrote a much more extensive piece on it, on the origin of species, but actually probably received a dissertation by this guy. Well, not really a dissertation, but maybe like 4 or 5 page paper by this guy on how evolution worked before he came up with the key points of his book. So anyway, to honor this fallen, or unrecognized, I don't know why I said fallen, to honor this unrecognized contributor to science, Tim Severin retraced the steps of Alfred Russell Wallace in Eastern Indonesia, which I should say, when Alfred Russell Wallace came up with this theory, the theory of evolution, or at least, you know, the parts that he did, he was studying biology in the Eastern Indonesian islands and its vast variety. Well, anyway, Tim Severin decided to retrace the steps along Alfred Russel Wallace's path in the same type of voyage that Alfred Russel Wallace would have used, which is a flatbed traditional, or a flat bottom traditional boat, about, I think they said 35 feet long, that was built in Indonesia during this time period, using the same carpentry skills, the same wood, the same scale design, or sail design. Now onto the book. I think the book was pretty good. At times it could be a bit wonky in all of the biology it went through, particularly on the bird of paradise bird species, which, considering the limited number of photographs that were in this book, I guess there are some pretty significant photographs, but the majority of it was just written. You really didn't get a sense of how beautiful these birds were, and maybe like a video that would have corresponded with it would have been appropriate. But anyway, he studied the birds of paradise along with some other species, talked about the variety of species and how they adapted to various environments, as well as just described the conditions and explored the conditions of people on the various isles. Being someone that's interested in more travel than I am biology, that was the part that I found most fascinating. Be it the history of the Banda Islands, which is where the major Spice Island trade took place, which is actually one of the most pristine areas, now that I'm opening to the page where the map is, where the most pristine areas are because of its historical significance. It's kind of been able to survive on that. To the Key Islands, which is where the boat was built and is kind of really a backwater, but a backwater in a both a good way and a bad way, in that life is much slower, but also economic development is stagnant at best. You know, the problems that we don't have to deal with in modernity are still present there, but some of the problems that arise because of modernity are not present. And then he also explored islands like Ternate and Tidor, the old sultanates of Indonesia and how they kind of have fallen from power, but some of the history there, how the woods and animals are being taken out of soliloquy and Irene Jara, and in general just sort of the environment as he went along. Now clearly the key part of the book, or the driving force in the book, was Alfred Russell Wallace in retracing his steps, but I felt it wasn't so driven that it became boring. There were enough observations involved that really a non-biologist could immensely enjoy the book. I also just like the fact that he did it the traditional way. He didn't, of taking the sea voyage. He also took crew members from the area rather than just flying in and telling some history about it, but not really getting involved in what the true journey would have been like that through Alfred Russell's observations would have led to the theory of evolution. Well, anyway, here's the book, The Spice Island Voyage by Tim Severin. Yep, Tim Severin, with special dedication to Alfred Russell Wallace, the co-founder of the theory of evolution, talking about East Indonesia. It was vastly enjoyable.